Like
Yes,
it almost feels like movies and TV shows are dead now. Like it's like, you still watch movies and TV shows?
dude. I know.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. Did you get my?
We are
We'll
live.
talk about it
Yeah,
on.
yeah,
Okay, we're live now, so that's good. I'll see
yeah,
how we
yeah.
sound real fast once I pull this up. Okay, let me refresh. We're refreshing. No dead time. Refreshing. Come
What
on,
up, Twitter
YouTube.
world? Oh yeah,
Yeah, you sound good. Yep.
Oh yeah,
What's
we
up,
sound good.
everybody?
Best audio in the game, baby.
Yes.
You're welcome,
Number
everyone.
one.
It's my gift to you all.
I'm gonna let everyone in Discord know our extremely active Discord server. Probably
It's
number one
bro,
in the universe.
it's been real quiet lately.
Dude, it's been real quiet for a
Right?
while. Not just lately, but for a while.
Yeah. It's fine. I don't have time.
It's just because we've
I
been busy,
I
man.
know. I can't keep up with
And I know I keep saying it, but I need to. It's not that I haven't had time to do clips. I'll be honest. I've had time for the most part when I get off work. I'm just so dang tired. It's like, do I want to put in more time? And I just got to get in the headspace of being like, okay, I just got to
message
do
request.
one. It's like what we were talking about. I just need to do one.
Uh-huh.
And then once I get back in the groove of it, then I'll be able to start putting it into like, my semi-daily regimen or like every other day, like get a schedule down with it. But
Yeah. I'm thinking the same thing.
did you see my last Twitter message I sent you?
I was just looking. New details on Batman 2.
Yeah. Did you see my comment?
I really hope it's a musical. Dude, I legitimately, if they came out, what's up, Victor?
What's going on, Victor?
If someone came out and was like, yeah, Batman 2 is going to be a musical, I would not go see it.
No, I wouldn't either.
I
was just saying that because of Joker 2 being a musical.
There was a time in my life, and this is a funny thing, and I want to say it's like modern. I'm just going to say modern media, just as like to cover all of it. There was a time in my life where I was much more open to watching all sorts of things, or if people wanted to try like creative or do something that's like kind of more out there, or like even like if someone was like, yeah, they're making a Joker movie and it's going to be a musical, if they had said that like 15 years ago, legitimately I think I would have been sort of like, cool, like, yeah, see what you can do with it, nowadays I'm, and it's funny because we were talking about this right before the show. I have like cynical internet brain. It's not fully cynical brain. It's cynical internet brain. So it's everything I see now. I'm just like, I'm like, this kind of looks terrible. Like it just, and I like it because when I'm proven wrong, at least I like the thing that I was proven wrong with, Like
we want to be proven wrong.
Yeah.
It's like we've had the rug pulled out from underneath us so many times. It's like, okay,
yeah,
I'm not going to fall for it this time.
Not again. Dude, the Anaconda, like you sent me the thing for the Anaconda movie.
Oh, gosh.
The movie looks like trash, dude. It's just
I was actually talking about that yesterday with my keeper. I said they were making a new Anaconda movie and it's going to be a comedy, and she's like, a comedy? I'm like, yeah, because they probably pitched it like Anaconda, but like you've never seen before.
Yeah.
A comedy.
Yeah,
I'm
what if we did
a drama?
Yeah, it's like, what if we did Anaconda, but we just put Jack Black in it and he just does Jack Black slop? Because that's what he is, dude, and it makes me yeah, it makes me so sad because like there was a time when like, this is years ago at this point, but like Jack Black being in something, you're like, oh, this actually could be pretty good, and now it's like he's just the same. He's just there to make a paycheck. And Paul Rudd's probably doing the same thing at this point. Like
because I think that Jack Black's actually a good actor.
Yeah, he used to like School of Rock, like I loved, and Tenacious D and the Pick of Destiny is like hilarious. Like he used to be in like stuff that when you saw him, you're like, sweet, this might actually turn out to be pretty funny. Oh, Nacho Libre, like I love.
Oh yeah.
And
maybe we just matured, David.
Maybe, but like I watched Nacho Libre like a couple months ago. Like it's still good, Dude, Hot Rod is like. I wonder if Hot Rod's on my list. I gotta go back and check. Hot Rod is legitimately one of my favorite movies of all time. Like, no sort of like I'm not even. It's fantastic. And it's like some people would be like it's kind of stupid, but I love it. And it's so sincere in like what it's trying to do, and I think that's part of it, right? It's like the sincerity for me like goes. You can go a long way with that. And I just modern television and movies and video games, barring a couple things here and there, it's all slop. It's all copy,
really
paste. Jack Black's in everything. Pedro Pascal's in everything.
Or it's
Zendaya,
like Netflix announced the Tom Clancy Splinter Cell Death Watch from the writer of John Wick, and it's probably like just one of the writers randomly, and it says a new animated series based on Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell. And when you look at the poster, it has the original Splinter Cell dude. I forget his name.
Dude.
And then it has a lady pointing a pistol with a silencer on it. And then it has another lady, red hair lady with glasses looking at us like, from the creator of everything we've already seen that we don't like comes a new TV series we probably won't like. The lesson learned, or the lesson that the protagonist learns, is that everything she needed was already within herself.
Did you
It's gonna be. It's like we haven't seen this already before. Like you're talking about, just regurgitating slop, just with a new aesthetic.
Yeah, Devil May Cry, Scott Pilgrim, He-Man. Those are the top 3 that I can remember off the top of my head. I'm sure Netflix did some other ones. Like a lot of people hated where they ended up going with Castlevania after a few seasons. I mean, that's all animated stuff. And, it just doesn't even get into like, we can, we're going to talk about The Witcher some, because it does well on our channel.
Oh gosh,
people love
watch that, David.
Hey, one of our top shorts ever was me talking about the stupid portal thing in season 3 of The Witcher. I can't believe it. Like, of all the things that people like latched onto and generally agreed with us, and obviously in hindsight with a lot of this Witcher stuff, like I think it takes people a while to come around, but yeah, we'll be getting into that. We should, just so that we can kind of get, we don't talk about the, you could say it's politics. Joseph, okay, I'll say this. Let me preface this. This event that happened last week that we're going to talk about, to be clear for everyone who ever hears this, with the murder of Charlie Kirk, it almost made me bring our old banner back.
Yep.
Dude, I've been...
that actually... politics ruin. For those who don't know, our old banner used to be "Politics ruins everything."
Yeah. And people used to fight us on this all the time. Everything's political. It's like, no, it's not. it's not. Especially not in the context, right? Like, and I think I think one of the reasons why we started this, and we're, even with the stuff that we talk about now, like moving more into entertainment over the years, nuance is kind of like important to us. And it's been,
for those who don't
lost.
know, we used to have if you've been here from the beginning, you do know.
Yeah.
But at the beginning, for those who weren't, who joined us when we just started strictly focusing on entertainment, we used to do a social portion of our podcast and then go into an entertainment portion of our podcast. But as you were saying, nuance has been lost.
Yeah. And the entertainment side of the thing is just like where my love has always been. And so it was like much easier to come on here all the time, and instead of talking about how like terrible politicians are, or like whatever happened to be the thing at the time, especially around like the COVID era. Yeah,
we
don't
have fun with it. Don't get me wrong.
Oh, of course, yeah. It was, yeah. But it's like
Wild West pimp style.
Yeah, it's time, Joseph. It's tragedy. I think has a tendency to make you contemplate things, especially if you're
your own mortality.
If you're normal, if you have like Sorry. Yeah, like if when things like that happen, like you start to kind of like look at things and it goes all sorts of places when it comes to stuff like that. But obviously Joseph and I, we're not going to stick on this subject. Like you all have probably heard this stuff like nonstop for literally the past week. And I think we were off last week. I don't know, Joseph, was that you had to be off last week, right?
I had to be off because I had to attend a family function.
So, and it's probably for the best that we didn't record last week either, because I think neither of us really would have been in a very that probably would have been a very sad show.
Yeah, it would have been.
Last
week was a heavy week with everything. But it was the built up. It was his murder. It was the murder of the girl in the bus, and just seeing those two videos. Like, I didn't try to intentionally watch them. I unintentionally came across both.
Yeah.
And the young lady seeing that and her innocence and just her stunnedness and the cold-heartedness of what evil does in both videos, and what happened with Charlie. I mean, it's just, you see the evilness and the sinfulness of man, and what people put their ideologies apart from Christ, that people put their hope in, and where it leads them. Because as we've talked about multiple times, when if you claim you have no God and you're so focused on the political side of things, regardless of which aisle you find yourself on, it's politics in the state that becomes your God, and that becomes your everything. And so you do start to see people as you start dehumanizing people and seeing them as less than.
That's what we mean when we say that politics ruins everything.
Yep.
This idea that people have in their head that politics is everything to that person. Their ideology, their
sense of being, their identity.
Yeah, their entire identity. Like everyone, and this is such regardless of your faith and or where you stand on any of that. One thing, and this is something that people recognize if you stop and you look at it, is that if you spend enough time talking to someone, you can begin to understand what their identity is wrapped up in. Mm-hmm. And with some people, it's way more obvious than others. And that's kind of where nuance comes into play a little bit. Is it's really interesting when you have conversations with people. You really kind of begin to understand them and what they hold at kind of the highest level. And it's just kind of, sorry, I know it's
there your heart is. And
exactly.
I think that means more than just money, right?
Agreed.
Jesus said.
Yeah, I agree.
From the abundance of the mouth, from the abundance of the heart does the mouth speak. And so whatever you're speaking and whatever you're thinking and then whatever you're spending your money on, that's what you most value in your life, and that's where your identity is wrapped up in.
Yeah.
And your resources and your time and stuff like that. So I mean, just really tragic that because someone had a different perspective than them, that they got murdered, and just because of a young lady sitting on a train gets murdered, and that kind of stuff. Here's the deal: is that this kind of stuff is happening every day.
All the time.
So
there's been reports this week of a whole bunch of other stuff happening. There was forgive me, I can't remember what state it. Oh, no. Was it not? No, I think this one was in the U.S., but a pastor got gunned down in his home.
Yep.
By somebody
I think it's just the visceral. I think because these were captured on video, it's the visceral reaction of everything. Obviously, Charlie being as popular as he was, but then this young girl, it being on video camera.
Man, from the perspective of wanting to get to win an ideological competition, murdering someone who disagrees with you, it doesn't work.
Especially when they're talking about trans violence.
Yeah, idiots. That's
literally what I think if I understand correctly.
Yeah, dude, it was
that's what he was talking about.
That's exactly. Yeah, it's the last thing you created a martyr. Yep. Which, if the education system was teaching y'all anything to begin with, you would have learned that at some point. That it's that's what that does. And I don't want
Not
we.
only that, a Christian martyr at that, because people don't
Yeah,
realize like John the Baptist wasn't murdered directly for his faith. It was a political murder.
yeah, yeah. It happens a lot. It's also one of those things, and like this is just a side note, and then we can kind of move on. But one of the things I have taken sort of criticism with, and obviously it's not about Charlie, it's about the way that everybody's kind of talking about this, is that everyone's like, we don't condone political violence. And I'm like, I think y'all need to define what you mean by that. It's like everyone needs to like take a step back for a second, who's been saying that a lot, and you need to ask yourself, what do you mean by that? And what do you think has been happening with like our government for a very long time?
Yeah.
That's like the last thing I want to say about it, is because it's like when they say that, I'm like, what do you think, like what do you think's been going on for what do you think like everything with Ukraine has like been?
Dude,
Like this whole, all the stuff that we've been like wrapped up in. Like,
yeah.
what is it? Is it only acceptable on like that level, or when it's inside what we would consider like our Overton window for the United States?
Yeah.
It's like it's funny because this always seems to come back up. But there's a line in The Dark Knight where the Joker's talking about how some soldiers die. I think he's like, soldiers get blown up by a bomb, and everyone is like fine with it. And then like a school bus of children gets blown up and everybody loses their mind. And like the idea behind that being like what is considered like the acceptable norm in a society. And obviously he's like the villain or whatever, but like sometimes writers use things like that to try to like get you to like look a little bit at this is what, when you used to write sympathetic like villains or like giving them a little bit of like a humanity, that's what they used to do instead of what they do now. They used to put these things in there where you go like, he's kind of got a point with that. Like he's touching on something, right? And obviously, like when The Dark Knight came out, like that was very much the middle of like everything happening in Iraq, and
then they had the shooting, like at
oh yeah, that was
in Aurora, Colorado, at the theater.
At the third one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's
along that same line, man. I think it's a bit of a sidestep, but in that vein, the evilness of what happened with Charlie and that young lady, and the evilness that's happened to others before then and since then, and the evilness that you're referring to. I think one of the things that is a beauty in the midst of that darkness is that evil, when people see it, especially such widespread and visceral, can lead a lot of people to run to the light, to run
Agreed.
to Christ.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the wonderful things about Charlie's legacy, preaching the gospel and being faithful in that, and how like that one event is spurring people to go to church and to recommit their lives or give their lives to Christ. And that's, one of the things to take from it. I mean,
dude,
but I can't like, it goes without saying, but it's important to have a relationship with Christ and a level head and a level heart, obviously in Christ. But then too, on another note, we had one of the contractors that works for me on one of our projects. They were working for another client away from us, and a young adult, 22 years old, ended up dying because they were pigging, and I don't know all the context, but he either opened the closure door, or it was open-ended and he stuck his head in the pipeline. And pigging is when you have a foam pig and you push air behind it to clean out the pipeline. And I guess it got hung somewhere, and he was like, "Oh, what's happening?" And it finally came out, and anyways, he's dead. So just be sure to look out for people while you're at work, no matter where you are. Just keep your head on a swivel. Keep your head about yourself. And along those notes, with what I'm mentioning at work and with Charlie and this young lady, you pay attention to your surroundings. I mean, there's nothing Charlie could have done or that young lady could have done. And people don't really, realize, I mean, of course, it'd be nice to have a gun in that situation, but when you have a knife attack, it's one of the hardest attacks to defend from in close proximity.
Yeah. You like
And
oh man,
and
this is
obviously there's nothing Charlie could have done either.
no
But
that
what I
no.
mean is in the broader spectrum of things. I know we're all on our phones these days, or we have
Stop. Yeah,
headphones
stop
on
it.
or stuff like that.
Stop it.
Just make sure you're paying attention.
Yeah, dude,
You know.
people don't. It's one of those things like it's so funny, and you know we'll move a little bit away from it, but I've had a lot of conversations with people just like across the spectrum as far as like the way that it's affecting people, and you know people don't realize people don't realize like how much of an illusion safety is.
Yep.
People think I'm legitimately. It's like in like regular life, people look at me like I'm nuts sometimes because I'm just like it's an illusion. Like you're not safe. You know, it's like people don't understand, like, and we used to talk about this all the time on the show. It's like the average, and I don't know if it's changed a little bit since the last time I looked at these, but the average response time of the police in the United States is 10 minutes. The average the average crime is going to be over way before that. If you find yourself in an altercation with someone, especially something that could turn deadly, it's over maybe 30 seconds.
Speaking of you saying that, I saw this video, or maybe it was a Twitter post or a post from somewhere on the internet, that this black dude and white dude were about to get in a fight because of the white dude was being aggressive.
Yeah.
And the white dude's like, "I'm gonna call the cops," and the black guy says it takes them 10 minutes to respond. That's long enough for me to beat the crap out of you, basically something along those lines. And the white dude just said, "You know what? You're right," and he left.
Hey man, you know that's the way that it goes, and I appreciate that. Yeah, man, and I've got a couple friends I'm taking to the range soon, and please. Like, if you ever hear this, whoever you are, and you have like women that you care about in your lives, help them to understand the importance of self-defense and taking care of themselves, and not this idea, dude. It's this insane idea that exists in modern society that like if a woman is being attacked by a man, that kicking him in the nuts or pepper spray is going to like be the thing that saves their life. And I'm like, you are foolish. I was like, there's not another way to describe it at this point. And that's the thing is, like, I think one of the things that and trying to find a way, at least to a degree, it's like kindness and not being nice. It's a kindness to explain to people, and this is what people don't like anymore. And it's one of the reasons why, like, why some of the things happen is that, like, Charlie was trying to be kind to these people. He wasn't being nice to them. He was being kind to them. Like he was trying to show them respect, but he was like, I very much have like a certain set. It's like, if you think you can like outpace me when it comes to these conversations, because I had no idea. Honestly, he was like on my peripheral before a week ago. Like I was aware of who he was, and obviously both of us have our issues with like the political side of like Turning Point. Like I'm pretty sure they were the golden statue people, right? Am I wrong about that? Wasn't that Turning Point? I'd have to go and look at it, and I don't want to go into like the hearsay of it or whatever. But I think it was Turning Point that had the giant like gold statue of Trump back in
which doesn't necessarily mean
it's not on Charlie necessarily. And I think someone brought it. I don't think it was, but it's like it's a bad look, you know. But we've had disagreements, which is totally fine. I've had plenty of disagreements with people. It's not like I'm about to pull out a Glock and be like, well, we disagree, so you have to die now. So it's that's you could clip that in the wrong context. Sorry.
Good job, David.
I know, right? It's all over the place.
Apparently,
anyway,
it's hard for me to find this because apparently there's another giant statue of Trump, golden statue of Trump holding a Bitcoin that was displayed outside the U.S. Capitol.
New logo, everyone. We've got a new logo. Anyway, all of that like being said, talk to don't be afraid of like coming off sounding like
it was
mean.
at CPAC.
Oh, it was CPAC. Okay, well, screw
Conservative
them.
Political Action Conference.
All right, Turning Point.
Don't ever
forgive me.
Turning Point like that, David. How dare you?
Regardless, it's
fact check him, please.
People
in the troll room.
I'm sure
we need to do a David fact check.
Get Grok out. Bro.
Let me consult the Book of Truth, which is Grok now, not Google.
I know everything's changing.
Yep.
But yeah, man, that's just like it's good. I've seen people start to be bolder in the way that they speak to
Yep.
people. I've had conversations about it where people
And
are
that
like,
like undertone, and not even just. I'm sorry, David, I interrupted
"No,
you.
you're fine."
Finish.
Oh,
That
yeah, you're good. Sorry.
undertone of people, of not even undertone, but just directly saying like, hey, you need to keep your faith private and stuff like that, like
Right.
here in American and Western society at large. And obviously that was never the case for me and you, but I think with Charlie's passing, his murder, that has opened the gates of people being more vocal and courageous and bold to speak like, no, like we are going to speak about our faith.
Yeah. Yeah,
um
we're going to the things that matter to us and the things that like are important, and I don't know, like
and and hopefully this is the precipice, this is the tipping point of a great awakening, or just
yeah.
a revival of repentance back to God.
I'm still on the train on this, and it's funny. I was listening to Backwards, Eric July's band, and it's more like anarcho-capitalist, like political leaning, I guess, even though it's like we keep telling people it's like it's literally the opposite of that. Like there's a reason we say politics ruins everything. Like it's very much like anti-political in the way that
Yep.
that it's formed. But all that being said, he has something in there. He's like what basically, we're not needing a revolution, we're needing an evolution. And so it's one of those things. It's like it's basically the idea being it's like it's time to step up your game in the way that you're doing things, because most of the time, Joseph, like when oh my gosh, it's like our entertainment podcast. It's fine, everyone. You're gonna have to sit through it anyway.
Yep.
It's
too late now.
When it comes to sort of like the idea of like a revival, it's like I understand like people's like intention behind it, but in my mind, what a lot of it becomes is it's like a dude sitting in a room, he says a message, everyone gets emotional, and then he leads everyone in a prayer and goes, "Congratulations, you are safe now." Like that's what we grew up with. And so like in my mind, I'm like, and I still feel this way because this is something we used to media is always political. Yeah, fair enough, especially these days.
Yep.
It's a very strange like thing for me, and it's why like I like the idea of the nuance behind it, because I'm not saying that stuff isn't necessarily going to have like an effect on people's lives. Like Billy Graham had a huge effect on a lot of people's lives when it came to that. I think what it is it's like it's time for like churches in general. Like I hope and pray that like they see a change, or like they begin to like think through the way that they're like doing things, because I think a lot of them have been asleep, man. I think COVID really messed up a lot of these places, and they've been on like even since like right before COVID, through COVID, it's been like autopilot. And it's I see like bits and pieces of it in places with like I've got like some friends who are involved in certain ministries, and like they do like a ton of work, but it's all like parachurch stuff, because I think that a lot of the modern churches in this country, in the United States, they outsourced a lot of that stuff from their congregation. So you have these mega churches, and some of this is mostly aimed at mega churches and kind of what they've become. But it's so sorry. My mind's just like starts switching to different things because I was like looking at our title. I'm like, we got to get to The Witcher, but I want to talk about this. It's just kind of
we'll get to the
we're gonna get to The Witcher. There's definitely just been some stuff that I've noticed, and I know I'm not the only one. I used to think that's the way that it kind of worked, and it's very isolating. It's why I like to talk about this stuff, because I know I'm not the only person, especially like since we started, like ever since COVID, and like talking about the way that we felt about that, talking about the way we felt about the direction of like movies and television and just kind of entertainment in general over the last few years. There is this very like this lack of like, I would almost call it grit, within like especially this like mega church culture, this seeker sensitive, where everything, everything has to kind of like be toned down. You're being
Well, I
nice to
think you're
people. You're
sensitive is
not
all
being
about.
kind.
It's more, I should say, the primary impetus is more about reaching the lost, right? Like the people who aren't saved, than it is about feeding your congregation primarily.
Yeah,
And then they
and yeah.
siphon that off to like life groups to where you get fed rather than on Sundays,
Mm-hmm.
which I don't necessarily see that biblically.
Agreed.
Obviously, as we've talked about before, it should be the primary focus of Sunday is for your, those who are saved, your congregation, to feed
Yeah.
them and then reach the lost. But yeah, the
Hey,
seeker sensitive movement,
you've been out,
it's all about like mega churches with gold dust and smoke machines and strobe lights, and
and sometimes
it takes
yeah.
it takes a concept of wanting to do things excellent, which I agree with, right? We want excellence in our movies and our TV shows and stuff like that. But then in the church setting, it takes that and then the excuse or the good reason to do things excellent is used as an excuse to start doing, well, we need smoke machines. And let's not talk about like also at the same time, these mega churches that do the concerts are in OSHA violations when it comes to the decibel noise, and how many families are bringing their newborn babies in there, and just not only just themselves is it bad for, also their newborn babies.
Yeah.
But they do all these other extra things that is a
And
waste of money.
and it's yeah, and well, and you know, it's nobody's even gonna probably know. It's like you and me probably know this, and there's probably like 4 other people that are aware of it. But like, David Platt put that book out years ago called Radical, and like,
Yeah.
didn't really like live up to that. That was, bro.
I still like that book.
No, I do. I think there's a lot of very
I need to sit
strong.
down and talk with him. Let me just say that.
There's a lot of really strong arguments, and it's so funny, dude, is because like these guys, like, it's okay to be like slightly off the mark,
Yep.
But man, went hard, and a lot of people took a lot of that like really seriously, and it's just like to see that not really be the case, probably hurt a lot of people,
Yep.
And it's something that, again, it kind of goes back to that, man. It's like you really, and it's why like your local church is supposed to be so important, and like your local congregation and your pastor and like that, like being very like aware of the current like zeitgeist in the culture, but that being a part of like, it's like dude, I'll tell you this, like, maybe I've been searching for like a new church for a while, and so it's like, forgive me if I'm a little off base with this, but like the amount of men, and like we're in like a time period where like, and this is media related, I guess, we're in a time period where like pornography is like even more, for one, it's more accepted than it used to be, like way more accepted. I mean, like OnlyFans is created.
I think vocally, though, I think at least in my circles, that's starting to change. But
Good.
Again, that's my circles. That's my bubble. You know what I mean? That's
I see it. Well, the thing is,
large.
Yeah, I see it from.
But I would say like a lot of states have not banned it, but required age identification with driver's license, and so those companies that have decided just not to allow people to access it from within those states.
Yeah.
So there's a movement.
Should go back to the states anyway, as far as all that's concerned. Like,
yeah.
It's not it. So what I think where people kind of get confused with like where I would like stand on a lot of that is like, maybe you could argue for like a slippery slope sort of thing with this, but like the federal government just like outright banning things, regardless of how I feel about the thing that they're banning, it just worries me. Because it's like, okay, you're doing that. Like, what are you using this as like a door? Like, is this holding the door open for
what are
you guys?
Using it for?
Exactly.
Yep.
And people don't understand that. It's like, well, you don't want them, like you want this to like exist or whatever. I'm like, no, it's not what I'm saying. Again, it goes back to nuance. It's like, you kind of have to like listen to know where I'm coming from with this. And I hope, maybe it would definitely benefit our show. Selfishly, I hope people really begin to start to like listen more, and they start to understand the importance of nuance, and like that goes like it's crazy, dude, because like yeah, we talk about like dumb movies and stupid things happening in Hollywood and like budgets for these like overbloated Marvel movies. But when it comes to like the interactions that you and I have had with people online, I think I used to be of the opinion that I'm like, people cannot be this ignorant to something like this, and then like something like major happens, and you just it makes you go like, oh yeah, no, it's just the way that it is.
Yeah, there's times I think back on our good old buddy, know better, do better.
Oh dude, and I haven't thought about him in a long. I should go like hit him up.
And I'm like, sometimes I think I'm like,
yeah, how are you doing?
Yeah, maybe I should have handled that situation different.
That's all right. I mean, that dude, we like I feel like we did kind of try.
Like, it was just that last time we spoke about it, and I'm like, I could have made use. Right. I don't think I said anything that was necessarily incorrect. I could have just phrased it better.
Fair enough. But it's like you live and you learn from that, and like you were dealing with a very like belligerent, or like we were dealing with like a pretty like belligerent situation.
Yes.
And if you're going, and we've said this, and
it
like,
wasn't even anything directed at him. I think what it was, if I remember correctly, what it was about was he made a video in response to us, and he said, "Now they're not racist," and I was like, "Why would you bring that up unless your audience is racist or something?" Like,
well,
I never got on. We never got on here and say now no better's not racist. Like, well,
well, that's kind of the thing, man. It's like
weird.
Again, that's like where this like.
But it was in the height of during 21 and 22.
Well, and it was the Lord of the Rings stuff, and it was just like clearly like he was mischaracterizing our arguments, and we did not find him, he found us. And like that's something that I've always talked about on the show.
That's
is like
a good point.
We do not typically
That's a good point.
That we have like in certain instances, like there's I think when it was it Nerd of the Rings that we did that like breakdown of. Now I feel like we were kind, like we didn't. I don't think we were specifically attacking his character. It was always about attacking
we weren't
the arguments.
Belligerent. Yeah,
it's been a few years, so it's hard for me to fully remember. So I'm trying to be as like generous as possible. But like it's what I said. I was like,
talked about how we liked his channel and stuff like that. And I think even with Know Better, when we talked about him, we said we didn't even, because we weren't on TikTok at this time, so we had no idea that Know Better had like a pretty large TikTok
oh, that's right, because it was like I think we found him on YouTube and we were like, oh, this guy, and then we got on TikTok and it was like, oh, he's
Yeah, I think it was like a while though afterwards that we got on TikTok and realized that. But at first we just said, hey man, good for you for going, like, get your bag, like that's awesome. You go on this trip. And our focus was primarily at some other people, but specifically
and it was
Nerd of the Rings. And I even said like, hey, Nerd of the Rings is one of my favorite, channels I follow, and I'm
listen,
worried.
And looking back on it now, the irony of a group of people potentially having their voices corrupted for like special treatment over Lord of the Rings. There's some like irony in that. Take it for my own. Yeah, I can control
and sometimes
this.
It's not even, it's not even that. I mean, yeah, people could sign NDAs, non-disparaging agreements.
Yeah, it's disclosure.
And well, I know it could be non-disclosure, but then also non-disparaging. Oh
yeah, fair enough. But NDA is typically a non-disclosure. Like you can't. There's certain things you're not allowed
we
to
talked
talk
about that at the time.
Well, and the only thing
Zach's actually brought up, he's like, it could also be non-disparaging.
Oh, I didn't even remember
but the point I was getting to with it was, even if none of that was involved, and it was just outside of it was more of a non-disclosure rather than non-disparaging.
Yeah,
right?
They definitely signed something, but he wouldn't even tell me. He wouldn't even tell me if he signed an NDA. And I'm like, dude,
I mean, he would have to go there to,
yeah.
Maybe
Well, I mean,
they
we
saw,
knew it. I was just trying
But
to
the
give
point
him
is,
the
like, even if
opportunity
it-
to be like honest with us. Like, hey, like there's stuff that I'm not allowed to talk about.
Yeah.
And we're like, okay,
But
man.
like even with just the hey, we're gonna pay for all this, you come,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just okay, the favorable, oh wow, I got to go on this nice trip, like positive things in there. It's smart marketing. Like I don't blame Amazon for doing that. Like
Yeah.
makes sense. But whereas like when you and I are concerned, it's like, hey, like when we were actually before last year when we kind of fell off with this as being as consistent before all that, when we were releasing stuff pretty much daily, and we had that company reach out to us
For
about
that
reviewing
Nick Cage
that
movie? Was that what it was?
potentially if it that
It
I
didn't.
was told it was real. I reached out to people, but
Yeah, I remember.
whether if it was or wasn't, we just responded like, hey, just to let you know, we're gonna we're gonna
Are
be
you-
honest. If it
let we may not be the most tismy podcast out there, but like it was like y'all know who, like, did you listen to
this
anything?
this is the number one neurodivergent podcast in the universe.
It's true.
Like
we are the most neurodivergent. Don't come at us.
Don't violate my HIPAA rights, David.
Yeah, or whatever. Yeah, man. I it's fine. I think it's and part of the reason like I got a hold of, or like we kind of took up the fight against New Better a little bit, is because like the goal was hopefully maybe to find some kind of common ground, because I think like outside of like the political spectrum or whatever, like even in this, I like talking about this stuff, and like he kept trying, and this is, I don't know if you probably remember this, but like he just kept wanting to debate us about like Lord of the Rings facts, and I'm like, my guy,
Oh yeah,
like that's not what we're doing.
Yeah,
like that's not
he
what
was
we
really
do.
wanting to debate us, and I'm
Yeah.
like, listen, I can get into a debate with you, and I don't really care. Maybe I end up knowing 10 things more than you. Maybe you end up knowing 10 things more than me. That's not the point of what
It's
we're
not
trying
the
to do.
point. No,
But it was actually you and my keeper when reading the messages. I was the one that like that person.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about it.
And he wanted to do a
debate.
debate. I was assuming it was like, hey, let's schedule like to do something. He's like wanting it to do that night.
Yeah, he's like, I'm live now. Get on here, and you're just like, bro, that what? So you just he just wants to. He wanted.
I said I'm in bed with my wife. I'm definitely not getting out to talk about Lord of the Rings.
Nah.
And if it would have been one of my friends, I probably would have finished that with something, some kind of joke. But
yeah. But yeah, man.
Yeah, let me get out of bed with my wife to talk about Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. Actually, in the Silmarillion, and you're just like, dude, this is not.
Who just says? I don't know. I guess my mind doesn't work that way. Even if I want to do something like that with someone, I'd be like, yeah, let me know what time works for you. Or like let's schedule a debate or something like. Not like, hey, I'm on live, get on that. Like,
but also we are not
demand stuff from me.
Yeah, it's like you found us. Like you don't hold the power here. Like that, you came after us. Like we didn't know who you were until you did that.
Yeah. We actually complimented you.
If you can't speak at least 3 Orcish dialects, don't talk to me about Lord of the Rings. Yeah, that's literally, dude. It's like that was like what we were going through at the time. Literally being like, "Hey, the story for this sucks. Like Rings of Power story is terrible. What's going on here?" And like that was the thing is,
how did the elves get captured?
I was like kind of focusing. I mean, like Joseph was too, but like I was kind of focusing on the story aspects and like the beat by beats for that. And then like Joseph was filling in a lot of the lore and the things that I wasn't aware of. And to be honest, like doing that actually made me more interested in a lot of the stuff that's like surrounding that, the story of Lord of the Rings, way more than Rings of Power actually did. It was just like us talking through it and like learning more about like what was going on and like the history of Numenor and like all these kind of things. That got me a little more interested in it.
Yep.
And I loved that, and I like doing things like that. And even with people that we have disagreed with, we've had people on the show that both of us disagree. Like technically Mexican still likes The Last Jedi. Every time,
that's fine.
Every time he gets on,
it's fine to enjoy movies and to find joy in movies and realize that they're not good, or realize the bad parts about them. You don't have to like every single thing. It doesn't even have to be a good. Here's a crazy idea. It doesn't even have to be a good movie for you to like it, right?
Yeah.
Like I think it was the last time we were on the podcast when you said, Joseph, I know you, you know, find joy watching the Hobbit movies.
It gets
But
brought up regularly.
yeah, I just don't like them, and I'm like, yeah. I mean, really, the first one. I mean,
It's the
is
first
the
one's
main
like,
ones, bits
yeah,
and pieces of the second one, and then the third one is. But I don't know the first one too, where the whole barrel riding scene.
the barrels and
Yeah.
the thing of them and the Goblin King. That stuff is like okay.
Yeah.
I was trying to find something. Yeah, so The Witcher's getting a season 4 for some reason. Oh, wait. Can we back up?
Wait.
I know. I want to back up a little bit. Sorry, you go first.
Okay, it's about the Witcher 4 though.
Okay,
your mouth is gonna drop.
Okay, hang on. Pause.
Okay.
Hold that thought in your mouth for a second, because the reason that I brought up the Kirk stuff a second ago is because there's been a lot of like fallout in the gaming sphere too, and I just wanted to touch on this for a minute. This was yesterday. It was basically so someone on the Sucker Punch team, they made Ghost of Tsushima, which is pretty great game. They've made stuff in the past that I really, really liked. They've gotten some hot water earlier this year because of the woman, I guess, that's playing their lead in this one, because some of the stuff that she said is very like activist-y in all of her things. The people are. It's going to be. I want to track this, and this is kind of something that's interesting for the show, just because of the fallout of a lot of this stuff, and it does pertain to like what we talk about a lot. People are talking about boycotting Ghost of Yotai, which is the new game from Sucker Punch that's supposed to be coming out later this year. Banning or boycotting Bethesda just like outright because of some of the stuff that was said. People have started making lists on Steam of the people who have in one way or another made disparaging or outright like joyful comments about the murder of an individual. And that's the thing is like I find really, really interesting. And obviously I think we kind of mentioned it already, but we here at the Underground do not condone murder.
Yes.
And I'm going to keep it just as that, because I talked about the political violence side of thing. I was like, people really need to define their terms with that, because I think y'all aren't really paying attention to American politics if you're just like, I'm against political violence. It might be a good idea to define what you mean by political violence, because that's like one of those catch-all terms, like assault rifle. Or like, you know what I mean? It's one of those things like people say and everyone goes, yeah, I agree with that. And then it's just like, well, wait, what do you mean by that? Like what is considered political violence?
Right.
But what we should all be able to agree on is that murder is not okay.
Yep.
And shooting someone in self-defense is not murder. for the record. Oh my gosh.
All right.
Yes. So that yes, all of that is like kind of going on, and so I want us to kind of like it'll be my beat for the most part, but I'm very interested in that, and the devs of the best piece of entertainment of the year, Expedition 33, as far as I am aware, have said nothing, which is also perfectly fine because they're French, and they've got their own problems. They're dealing with plenty of issues over in France right now with their the state of their money.
And remember, people, whenever you meet someone who's foreign, it's always important to ask, "Hey, where are you from?" Don't assume where they're from, because I made a great decision to do that yesterday when I was picking up food, because I could have sworn this lady sounded like she was from France, and she told me that she was from Mexico, and I was like, "You do not talk like other foreigners I know who are from Mexico." Trying to speak English, so I'm glad I asked that. But this is really, really, I'm like, do you speak French in your specific part of Mexico? Because you sound like a French person. Oh, because I've had I've known people who are French who speak English, and That's what they sounded like. But any sense, The Witcher.
Yes.
Dude, how much do you think season 4 cost?
I feel like I heard the number
With
for this.
Luke Hemsworth.
And
Just give
it's like absurd. And I wish I could remember because I know I heard someone mention it.
Okay. I'll give you 3 options. You ready?
Maybe that wasn't that show. Maybe it was.
Oh, okay, I'm gonna give you.
Go
I'm
ahead,
gonna give you
go
3
ahead.
options.
It might have been a different show.
$250 million. Like 200 to $400 million, or 500 to $700 million, or 800 to $1 billion.
I feel like it's gonna be absurd. It's gotta be all right. It's gotta.
It's a hard one.
It's gotta
A,
be
B, or C.
Let's go that. Did you say like 500 to 700 million?
Yeah.
Let's go that range.
Yeah. $568 million, dude.
How many episodes is it? Do you know? It's gonna be like 8, right?
Oh.
I don't even remember what the other seasons were. I can look it
probably
up. Let me look
too
it up.
many.
Let me see what the other season 1, 2, and 3. Because I want to say they dropped the number of episodes, but I honestly don't remember.
To look it up, it's not saying this on.
It's
on
okay.
this thing.
I'm on our special website looking.
I'm on Forbes, and thanks Caroline Reed for reporting this. But $568 million for season 4 of a show that's dead on arrival.
Hang on. So you said, oh no, don't start playing that. Oh my god. I don't want to get copyright struck.
Oh, excuse me. I read this wrong.
Mm-hmm.
The total investment for the Witcher franchise from
was
Netflix
500.
is estimated to be at $568 million, with season 4 contributing significantly to this.
So what are we thinking? Like, what is significant for them? Is like 200 million? Let's just say 200 million.
200 million.
Let's just
season 2, the budget was 176 million. So
176. Yeah. Okay. So they typically
Blood Origin
let's just say
was about 13.
Blood Origin was ridiculous, dude. Like I think that was what it was.
Was like $22 million an episode, and so yeah, I would say around that 20 to 23 million.
Hang on. So you said it was 22 million episode for season 3.
Yeah.
Okay, so times 8, because there's 8 episodes per season. You're at 176 million for season 3. So I think I'm almost dead on with 200 million. So let's say it's 200 million divided by 8. You're looking at 25 million an episode, which is close to what Blood Origin was, by the way. Blood
Origin was 13.
13. Still, that's like insane.
Yeah. So in season 4, we'll have that
13 million an episode for Blood Origin, which is arguably one of the worst television shows ever created.
Apparently it only costs like $52 million.
Blood Origin is easily... Okay, it'll be interesting, because I think... Are you going to watch season 4 of Witcher?
I think you're going to make me. I think that's what you're
saying.
Because
the thing that I'm kind of curious about...
Why are you curious?
The thing I'm curious about is, will season 4 be worse than Blood Origin? Because
that trailer didn't inspire me with any but hope that it would be.
I feel like you don't.
Better.
I feel like you don't remember how bad Blood Origin was.
Oh, I remember. It was atrocious. Oh, okay. Would you rather watch? I think for me, I would rather watch Blood Origin than any of the seasons from The Rings of Power.
I feel like you're just like dead if you do, dead if you don't on that. How many episodes of I'm just getting down to the granular of it. I guess it depends on what's longer ultimately. Like what am I getting out of sooner if I'm forced to watch one or the other?
I don't know. I feel like those Rings of Power episodes were an hour.
But listen, if we were talking about season 1 of Rings of Power, I think at least we had some nice things to say about like small aspects of it. Like Durin at certain points in season 1, I think was like
that first 2 minutes, the opening.
Oh yeah, the first 2 minutes is like fine till she starts stacking all those elf helmets in. Guys, that show was so stupid. I
I
can't.
forgot about the
I
elf elements.
can't believe.
Dude, I think one of
What a
the
waste of
issues-
time. What a waste of
I
time
know.
to stack all those helmets like that.
Okay, hang on.
Golly,
This
dude.
is the issue. The Witcher season 3 release day.
When it's soon, right? It's got to
No,
be soon.
I'm talking about season 3. I'm about to say
Oh.
this is the issue.
It's
that
been,
we
what, 3
brought
years?
up already multiple times. 3 years.
Two-
June 2022
That's
was when
crazy.
season 3. Excuse me.
23?
The first volume appeared on June 2023, and then the second volume was July of 23.
Crazy.
So
2 years.
I mean, 2 years.
Yeah. Too
It's
long.
like we're taking too long with these shows to shoot and get them
Yeah.
out 2 to 3 years at a time. Like, what is going on, people? Like, if you're, by that time, it's like, why bother? I mean, that's kind of like my worry with House of the Dragon. I mean, I don't think it's as much with House of the Dragon because we enjoyed season
like
2
it.
more than a
Yeah.
lot of other people.
I mean,
But you
it's
have these
definitely
shows
got
that-
a lot of problems, but yeah, there's stuff to appreciate. Like it's I like wouldn't consider it like a bad show, especially in
Yeah.
like if we're talking from like the modern context. It's just taking too long for this stuff to come out.
That's the thing. It's, when it
Dunk-
would make more sense to me if you almost shot 2 seasons back to back
Yeah.
and released one a year later, and then that way in the meantime, if
Well-
season 1 is good, you can focus on shooting season 3 after that point.
We did like I did like a huge rant about this like not too long ago on the show, dude, where it was like they used to do like 21-hour long episodes, 21 episode seasons. And
Yeah,
now
gosh, that's way too long. Do not go back to that
no,
Hollywood
no,
point.
no. There was like a middle ground that needed to be there. And I've always said like tell your story, right? Like if you need it in a longer format, television's great for that. And I guess it's one of those things where it's like instead of things being done the way that they needed to be done, like we talk about like Witcher and Witcher needing probably to be more in the vein of like Monster of the Week or having more of that in the show. And it's not padding, but you could have a longer season if certain episodes were spent that was just Geralt hunting monsters. Like we used to talk about this all the time.
I mean,
on the
just
show.
copy what Marvel did with freaking Thanos. They could have done that with the Monster of the Week deal,
Well,
to where you
even-
slowly just build up to like the end of your big through line of each episode.
Well,
right?
that's the thing is that was like pretty common back in the day. That X-Files used to be that way. Smallville, Supernatural, like there's a lot of shows that people still have a lot of fondness for that didn't have huge budgets. They did a lot of the Monster of the Week stuff. There was an overarching plot, and like with The Witcher, all of that already exists. You can weave that story in through that. And like, here's the thing, especially because the author of the books wasn't very involved in the television show. Like, guys, it was funny. I was watching Drinker did a video on it recently that is pretty interesting because I didn't realize that I knew about the stuff with the video game. Like he sold the rights because we talked about this in the past, but he sold the rights of the video game to CD Projekt Red for like pennies basically. And he didn't take basically like profit sharing in it. Like he didn't take like a percentage of the profits from the games, which when Witcher 3 came out, that's when that really would have paid off for him. Like he just didn't have the foresight. It was like, yeah, it's a thing, like video game. Like he basically had like the boomer mentality about it. It was like video games, like whatever. And like the first one, whatever. Like it was what it was. It's not that great of a game. There's like some interesting stuff in it, but it's super basic. It's like pretty long too. 2 graphical enhancements, pretty cool game, like pretty tight. As far as like an RPG. And then, of course, like the third one comes out and absolutely blows up. And I think he ended up, at least the rumor was that he ended up like reworking that contract somehow. There's like some sort of like law in whatever country he's from. It's slipping my mind. That was it Switzerland?
I don't know.
That they basically, there's like some sort of thing in there where it's like they went back and like reworked the contract so that it's like he didn't totally get screwed out of like
Poland. That's what it was.
Oh, Poland. That's right.
I should have known that.
I know, me too. It's just been a while.
Yeah.
And so like the same thing with like television show. Like he didn't, and this is something for every creative out there for you to understand. If you care about a piece of work, and that's part of why like I think he just didn't fully care, at least not until it started making like an insane amount of money. He, I feel like, doesn't even fully care about his material, which is kind of sucks. Because I think an author who like really, really, really cares would not typically let someone get away with that kind of stuff. And I think a lot of creatives are like catching on to this. Funny enough, like Kanye was sort of one of the people who started this, where he was basically like, don't get into bed with these like big companies, don't sign these contracts. Like it might take you a little longer, but if like you're good, the people who like you are going to find you.
Yep.
And this, like, even Taylor Swift like ran into this a while back, where like she didn't own the rights to any of her music, and so they had to re-record everything to basically get out of being in like stuck behind the label that owned all the rights to her music. And so
Yep.
if you're a writer, whatever your creative like thing is, if you love the thing that you're doing and you want to remain like creatively in control, you need to fight for that. Like you have to advocate for yourself. And it's one of those things that like he didn't really do. And a lot of people need to understand that. It's like, because Hollywood will get a hold of your thing and they'll go, this is stupid. I don't like this. I'm going to change the way that this works. We're going to make Roach's death funny. And like, thank God, like Henry Cavill stepped in at least for that. But it's, that whole thing was like a disaster, man. And it's like,
we're going to take what you spent a lot of time on in your life and completely redo it, because we know how to do it better, even though you are the creator of everything. And again, that doesn't mean, as we've talked about before, that everything from a book can translate to TV or to a movie, right? But it's about respecting the author's spirit, vision, ideas, themes, the source material, and sticking to it as much as you can with what will translate to the screen.
Yeah. Lord of the Rings, man.
It's not about going against. It's not about taking it to make it your own.
Yep.
It's about taking it and to put with the author to bring it to life, in a way that can be captured in the medium that you're viewing it.
Yeah. Also, it's so funny. I just finished
kind of why War of the Worlds didn't work. I did not want to go and watch a Teams meeting movie.
Dude, nobody even wants to be in Teams meetings. Gosh.
Jeez.
Sometimes sometimes I literally just want to like disappear into the woods and build a cabin and like
David,
live off the land.
I am putting our offer out there again to David Zaslav, to the owners of Netflix, to whoever and whatever. You can just hire me or us.
Yeah.
For a measly $500,000 after taxes a year, room and board paid for, and everything like that, just to be your no and yes men.
Let us,
No, we're not going to do this. We'll save you way more money.
Yeah. We got you.
And make you money too. We got you. We could do this. Trust me. Listen.
Please. And like, it would be
Amazon,
so, we would walk in and in the first thing we would do.
If you put those people in charge of Lord of the Rings, if you had given that to me and David, you'd be sitting on so much more money.
Talk about being a no man. That'd be like, no, this sucks. Well, I thought, no, it's terrible. What's the point of this? Can you explain this to me? And it's funny, like, because I've still been writing in my spare time a little bit. Some stuff's like pivoted on it a little bit. I'm working on writing out like character work right now. It's basically like honing your craft a little bit, where it's like, okay, how do I want to like do this? And so I was like, okay, I have my like the general idea for my plot. I have how I want it to end. And I have my setting mostly, and I have like some semi fleshed out characters, and then some characters that are just sort of like, okay, I like the basis of this, but I don't have it like fleshed out yet. And then eventually, like once all of that's kind of set up into place, so basically you have like your your quote unquote like Bible for your characters. So it's like all of the information that you need to be able to like write your script in a way that like you refer back to that, as if like, okay, so this character, this is how he's set up. I have him in this situation. What is a natural way for him to like react in this based on the way that I have described him. And like that's kind of helps you do that. Nobody does this anymore. I mean, like comic book stuff does it. Like that. One of I've been like listening to some of the guys that like Eric July brought on to help write like comics, and you know they're trying really hard to make sure that's like they have the idea of like who these characters are, what's going on in this world, and they want to refer back to that to make sure that when they're writing these things that everything still kind of lines up with what they're doing. Now, obviously, on like a big scale like that, it can get really hard to maintain in certain ways. Like you have to be really careful. But like on a more like what I'm trying to do is like similar, but it's very much specific for like the script that I want to write. Yeah, like you just don't see stuff like that from anybody anymore. And like I miss like I miss when people like cared more about the creative aspect of it and the art of it and like making something excellent. And it's like that's the Lord of the Rings, man. Like that 19 hours of behind the scenes footage, and
where people still want more of it. They're
oh,
like,
dude,
can we...
there was it was probably a meme, but there's like part of my heart that hopes it's real that it's like Peter Jackson has like 8-hour versions of each of these movies, and I think I sent it to like Marie or somebody, and I was literally like, I will take a week off if this exists. I will take two weeks off to watch all the way through all of this if it exists.
Right, because it's just the care and the attention to detail and everything that they put in, and that's why our offer with any Hollywood company stands, like Amazon,
Step
Netflix,
one.
HBO. Hire me and David. That's your first step to save money.
Yes. Step one, hire us. Step two, we will tell you that if you're going to create a television show, especially if you have something like Stranger Things, you need to fast track the next 4 seasons instead of waiting 10 years to finish it. That's
you got to build that momentum.
Second,
it's called. We talked about this. Is the same thing with social media. So for those wanting to know, with starting a YouTube channel or on TikTok or wherever, when you have a video, whether if it's a long format or a short that does really well, it's called the snowball effect. So you do another video on the same topic, kind of.
Consistency is key,
and consistency, and you build on that, right? And so it's the same thing. Get this with TV shows or hey, even with movies, right? We don't need to wait 2 decades or a decade or 7 years to release a second movie to something or anything like that. And
people waited too long.
We don't need to wait 2-3 years to release the next season
because everybody forgets.
They go on that momentum.
Yeah, I kind of nobody remembers like the plots. Nobody's talking about it anymore. It's like it's the big thing that a lot of people in our circles like they talk about a lot is like you have even something like House of the Dragon, where it's like it's been pretty well received, but there was a huge drop off between season 1 and season 2 because they took too long to get season 2 out. It's probably going to happen again. And there's not a lot there. Like, dude, it's insane to me that Game of Thrones used to come out every year, except towards the end, obviously, and some of that I think was writer strike stuff, or there was something. Yeah. There were some shenanigans going on in Hollywood at the time, if I remember right. But they used to get a season every year, and everybody looked forward to it, and it was like 10 episodes. So it does work. You do an episode a week. It's like premium content. Everyone's like involved in the drama and the craziness and who is anybody going to get killed off, and people are like speculating, and then they're speculating for like 9 months until the next season comes out or whatever it is. And you just don't have that anymore. Like nobody's there's no water cooler talk over anything that Marvel has done television wise, Star Wars has done television wise. The only thing now is that I just troll people I work with because The Mandalorian sucks, and they're like, no, it doesn't. That's all it is.
We were talking about before the podcast, but it just seems like TV shows and movies are dead right now.
There's just not. There's not much out there.
You got Alien Earth, but it's like I told you, I'm gonna give you 2 hours. If you don't pull me in within 2 hours, I'm not watching episode 3, 4, 5, whatever. Yeah. I don't care. Like 2 hours is for a TV show is plenty enough time to pull me into your show to keep me watching it. Thankfully, I didn't, because I've seen that.
I've heard that it's not great. Yeah. Reacher season 3.
My time is valuable.
Yeah, Reacher season 3 is the only television show I think I've sat all the way through so far this year. That might not be totally true, but it's the only thing that No, it might be it, Joseph. That might be the only television show I've sat all the way through. I still need to go watch Guy Ritchie's that other show he did. But like, yeah, dude, it just hasn't been. You know, you like sit down and it's like, is this gonna like what it comes down to now is I just sit down and I go, is this gonna be a waste of my time?
Yep.
Like, am I gonna be like mad that I took like 3 hours to try to get into something and then I'm just like, this isn't for me, you know? Like, yeah, I think you're right, dude. I think that's the attitude that people have to have. It's like instead of just like, oh, maybe it'll get good at some point. It's like if you don't hook me pretty quick, like I'm not sticking around. And that's why I love.
You gotta. We have to. It's important to do that so that we can get better quality in the future. It shouldn't be about quantity. It should be about quality. But also a lot of these streaming services specifically are moving towards live content. So
I guess it's fine. It's not really my thing necessarily, but you know, like I just. Like,
I know Apple TV sure doesn't care if only 5 people watch their show. They'll renew it for a season 2.
I don't understand.
I'm like, who's watching that?
Who's financing
that show
them,
with
dude?
Reese Witherspoon and what's her name? Oh, she was in Friends.
Oh, Jennifer Aniston.
That's her name. I'm like, yeah, like, dude, who's watching this?
I know.
Who's watching this other show? And, oh, by the way, Chief of War. Yeah, just.
Oh, dude, I saw an image of that and I was like, nah, I'm good.
I'm finishing it, by the way.
Yeah. And the thing too, dude, is like one of the things I've always loved about movies, and it's just like keeps hitting home for me recently, is like, okay, we go like watch a movie, right? You take like Fantastic Four, it's like 2 hours. You're like, yeah, it really wasn't very good, but like, it's not 8 hours of your life invested to watch something that might just be like kind of all right.
And every single show is so focused on interpersonal drama, it seems like.
Yeah.
And there's nothing memorable about it. Whereas with movies, you can remember things. And don't get me wrong, there's certainly TV shows who are the exceptions to the rule, right? But there's, generally speaking, nothing memorable about a lot of the TV shows. That's why by the time, season 2 or 3 gets here, you're like, oh, by the time it's been 2 to 3 years between the seasons, you're like, oh, what happened? I don't remember or whatnot. Whereas like with Game of Thrones, it was a bit different because you were having these big, these unexpected events occur. Like, oh crap, Ned Stark just got beheaded. Spoiler, by the way.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
I mean, it's been
Jon Snow died.
Yeah.
Like
nobody cares anymore, dude. Like Game of Thrones does not hold the weight that it did, and they ruined it. HBO absolutely ruined it. Allowing like Dan and Dave to just, because remember that Star Wars project they were supposed to get, so they had to finish up Game of Thrones really quick. Stupid, dude. And it sucks because there was probably a lot more story to tell there, and it probably would have helped like the ending to make more sense. But it felt like I know we've talked about this before, but it felt like the Cliff Notes version because like I assume that. Martin was just giving them like, well, one of the dragons is going to die and it turns into an ice dragon and then it flies to wherever and then this happens. And so that's what it became. And then, and not like what it was, which was that the family drama and the drama between the houses, which was fine. Like that's interpersonal drama, but the way that they delivered all of that like worked well. And it was on this scale that like we hadn't seen before, and then everybody tried to emulate that, and it all just sucked. But yeah, man, like I'm looking through this list of stuff, of my 100 movies that isn't 100 yet, and I don't. Okay. Yeah, Hot Rod's not in here. Hot Rod's going in here because I love that movie, and everyone should watch it at least once. But like even something like The Prestige, which now that I'm kind of looking at it, I wonder if I should. Ooh, man, I love that movie. It is I think like a tight 2-hour movie that is incredibly well written, well directed, and well executed in all of those things. that I still don't want to spoil for people who have never seen it.
Yeah.
That movie came out in 2006. So it's almost 20.
Jeez,
it's almost 20 years
old.
old. That's crazy.
We're old, man.
Oh my gosh.
We're old, dude.
Holy smokes. The Prestige is one of my favorite movies. And it is so smart, and we don't get anything like a lot of the stuff that's like at the top of this list, in this list in general, anymore. And some of this stuff isn't even that old. But there was just like, I don't know, man. People's brains have just gotten like completely broken, and nobody's trying anything like interesting anymore. And like, it doesn't feel like there's effort there. And like, people aren't having fun anymore. It feels like with a lot of this stuff. Looking through
Okay, this is really good. This is going to be the last thing I have to say.
That's fine. We can close out on this.
Discussing film that did a first look at Ryan Gosling and Flynn Gray and Star Wars Starfighter, coming to theaters in May 27 for those interested. But somebody reposted it and said, can't wait for their Starfighter to crash land on a water planet, and then they will notice mountains in the distance. But those are no mountains. It's a massive wave. And then, for some reason, time passes very differently on this planet. And then...
people are picking up, man, listen, people are getting smarter in some ways. Like, it's not everybody. I saw this thing, I can't remember, Tim Dillon said it, where he's like, if you think that like the general population is going to get like smarter and more fit and think more nuance or whatever, he's like, you're out of your mind. I just think of it. But there are, dude, the internet, like, despite a lot of the stuff that we like talk about and like how it can be a problem for people and like you can really get like lost in a lot of this kind of stuff. Oh man, Snowpiercer might be too high on this list. It does good for some people because it helps people to like that quote from Trey and Matt from South Park, the whole like and then thing.
Yeah.
It's viral, and a lot of people have seen it now, and they've probably watched it more than once. And so after a while, that stuff starts to click with people, and they start watching movies or television, and they go, oh, this is what they were talking about. It's like, this stuff sucks. And like, I'm hopeful that we'll see the pendulum swing back at some point. And I my hope for it too is that it, and we've talked about this in the past, but like my hope for it too is that it's outside of the Hollywood influence, and that stuff gets like decentralized, and people are finding ways to like fund indie projects, and we start seeing like new material coming from places and people trying new things, and making movies again and entertainment for kind of niche audiences, like
Right.
It's not just like I'm so over the like pop culture being in the like general audience sphere.
Yeah.
It's exhausting, and it's like ruining the fun. And honestly, dude, that's part of it, right? Like video games, movies, collecting, all of this stuff has reached this height of like it's in the general audience. It's not like kind of like people don't look at you kind of weird because you like that kind of stuff now. They look at you kind of. It's kind of what happens if you're just like, yeah, I like to shoot guns, but it not if you collect Pokemon cards, totally fine. Anyway, I'm just like over it. Like I don't know. Maybe it's time to like gatekeep hobbies again. That's fine. It's almost like movies are on this like downcline, like this big decline.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of almost like glad for it, because it means like when I find new stuff that I really like, it's not going to just like blow up into this massive like monster that completely misses the point of like what the original creation was. Like, thank God, Joseph, that Lord of the Rings, that trilogy, like exists the way that it does. and hopefully we never have to worry about ever seeing anything come close to being able to be as good as that. I don't think we ever will, as far as like if someone one day, like 10 years from now, is like, we're going to remake Lord of the Rings, more of a curiosity will get me into the theater, but like I just don't ever see it being able to live up to what that, like it is. I've watched the extended cut 4 times this year.
Yeah.
Which is insane for me, but like I've been as far as like there's just like nothing else that I've cared about, and so I keep going back to that and just like paying attention to the details and the way that the actors are with each other and the way that the script works and like the dialogue and like why it just like on this fundamental level, like I can't get that trilogy out of my head. And I don't have like a full answer for it yet. And it's so funny, you know, we need to end the show, but it was funny because I keep telling you, it's like every time I watch it, it's like which one of those movies, it just like hops around which one I like the best. And I think I'm back to Fellowship being my favorite.
I get it.
Because I love the scale of Fellowship. It's very like, it feels very intimate compared to the other two. Even though like I love Theoden, he's one of my favorite characters. Like there's so much that I love about it. Yes, I know I could talk about it forever. But all of that to be said, like it's crazy to me that trilogy exists, especially with where we are now.
Yep.
It was lightning in a bottle. The right time, the right place, the right people deciding that they were going to try to do this the best that they possibly could. And it still holds up so well today. Like everything about it still looks pretty good. There's like, you could call them flaws, very like minor like editing things here and there with like slight like inconsistencies that I've started to pick up on now that I've seen it so much so recently. But that's a me thing. You know what I mean? It's just like, oh, yeah, it's interesting. Like his staff positioning is different in that cut than it is in the immediate next cut. Is in Two Towers. You know when they're going into the room before Theoden basically gets unpossessed.
Yep.
The cuts, if you watch as like the 3 of them, the 4 of them, excuse me, are walking into the room like headed towards him, and then they're all like fighting off the guys, so Gandalf can get up to Theoden. The cuts are kind of funny in it at certain points, and it's literally like if you watch Gandalf's staff, it's literally the way that his like staff is positioned, so you can just tell that like where they cut the scene and where they picked it up, and no one was like. I guess they call it blocking, so it's like no one's like, okay, we have to cut here, but like we're looking back at the end of this shot, and this is where you need to be like positioned to keep moving forward. It's very like snappy, and if you're not paying attention to it, you just miss it, which is fine. That's like an editing thing, but still, I love. It's not like, movie sucks now because of that. It's just those fun things that like you start to pick up on after you've seen something so many times. But then it's like the good stuff, dude. I don't know how I missed it, and then I will close. I'm sorry, Joseph. I got talking about Lord of the Rings again. I never, for whatever reason, realized. So after Boromir dies, one of the things that I didn't realize until a couple of years ago is that Aragorn puts his like wrist guards on, and he wears Boromir's wrist guards for the rest of the trilogy. But the thing that caught me off guard is I didn't realize, and this is why it's like the details matter and stuff like this, because you can pick up on it, but this is just like an extra added detail that shows you like what Boromir meant to Aragorn and who Boromir really was as a man, is that like Aragorn isn't angry at Boromir, he's sad, and he literally sheds a tear. And I never noticed it before until I watched Fellowship it was just like a week or 2 ago because I was going back through the trilogy.
Right.
And it's like those little things in there where you're like, oh yeah, if you're paying attention, you realize like who Boromir is, and it's like that showing that stuff rather than just being like Aragorn stopping someone and be like, no, Boromir was a good man who was corrupted by the ring, and you don't understand, right? Like there's none of that. It's all played out in natural dialogue and the way that they like do certain shots to show you what the characters actually think Boromir, and it's like every character in the movie, it's like spot on. Like no one is like giving you just straight up like exposition about him. It's all really natural to the way that they actually felt about him, not because of a single choice out of like the corruption of the ring. And it's wonderful. It's like that's the stuff that needs to be studied in film classes, is like, this is how you do this. This is how you show this. Because it's insane to me how often people miss that. And they're just like, oh, he was the bad guy in the first movie. And it's like, no, he's not.
Right.
Go watch the rest of the movies. It's like, do you not understand what's happening with like his father and all that? Yeah, dude. Anyway, we need to close the show. But I love it. And it's just, I can't.
I get it, man.
Dude. Especially after one of the guys that I worked with was like, oh, yeah, he was the bad guy in the first movie. And I was like, oh, my gosh. Like, the youth is lost. Not all of them, but holy moly. Anyway, Joseph, good show.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Longer than we'd expected, but it has been a little while since.
Been a good one, then.
Yeah, dude. Yes, we'll be back next week. I don't know what we're talking about. We can always do more news. I like doing news. I like the flow of it. So, like, we don't always have to do reviews every week. Jon Snow is still bleeding in the snow, waiting for George to write Winds of Winter. Yes, Victor, he is. It's never happening. He's never finishing it. He's gonna die.
Nope.
And then maybe one day someone will actually try to like finish his work, but it won't matter at that point. Nobody cares anymore. He's out of the mainstream like thing. He's too busy like writing random stories or whatever he's doing at this point. Hanging out with all of the money that he made off of HBO. Good on him, I guess. Get your bag, George.
Yeah.
All right. We'll close out there.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to another episode of The Underground. We'll be back next week with another show. And until next time, y'all take it easy.